amazing Les DeMerle, world-famous drummer, and I'm honored to call him a great friend. And inspired by Gene Krupa, he's going to tell us an incredible story from his childhood with Gene Krupa.
Yeah. So this photo up here, myself with Gene, was taken at the Metropole Cafe in New York, 48th and Broadway. My father, who was a plumbing and heating contractor, would take me to the clubs to hear these jazz greats. And this particular night, if you look on this, it says Sammy Price Publicity
Right.
on there. Sammy Price was a jazz piano player with a trumpet player named Red Allen. And Sammy said, you know, after he heard me play with other bands like Lionel Hampton at the Metropole.
At 17, you're playing
Well,
with Lionel Hampton?
16.
Wow.
Hamp I played at 16.
Amazing.
At 17, I was able to sit in a few times with Gene Krupa. But Sammy, he had a little publicity agency, so he arranged this. He said, I want you to come in, the next time you play with Gene, wear a tuxedo, and then, you know, we'll take photos, like, so it'll be, maybe you'll be in magazines, that kind of thing. So there's Gene. He had just played a set, wonderful set, and he's got his hands on my shoulders, which is like so God touching you, you know. And then after I did that shot with him, I think he took a break, and then I went back and played a set, or a tune or two.
With
you know,
Gene's band?
With Gene's band.
Wow.
Charlie Ventura on saxophone, Nobby Toda on bass, and John Bunch at piano.
Did you know you were going to be playing with Gene's band?
Well, yeah, I knew that this was kind of staged. Staged, yeah.
Okay, so that part of it you knew.
But yeah, here's another story. If you look over here, he had spotlights. See these spotlights?
Yep.
And he was foot operated. So way before lasers and all this stuff, you know, he would have this. He'd get into his solo, like say drum boogie or sing, sing, sing.
Right.
And he'd stop on the light and light him up, and they'd turn all the lights on in the club. So my father.
He was the light man, Gene Krupa himself.
Yeah, he sit right next to the bass drum. He hit that pedal.
Wow.
You know? And we had those lights. My father bought that exact set, and you know he had several sets, and I used those for many, many gigs when I was 17 years old.
Oh my
So and I'll tell you, in the summertime, you could get a suntan with those lights, man. You don't put on those lights; they were so strong. Hey, baby, you got a baby here. And you put on those lights, man. It was so hot, you sweat like crazy. And then, you know, so I had the lights, and you know, and that's it. And that's the man. And he was the most humble guy. I don't know if you ever got to meet him.
No, I never.
But he, I mean, just like
I met Buddy, but I never met.
You met Louie, right?
I met Louie. I studied with
You
him
loved him.
and met him. And Buddy, I got to meet a couple times, but Gene Krupa had passed away before
Right.
I was able to meet him.
Gene was as humble and as much a gentleman as Louie was, you know.
Oh wow! What
You
a
know,
man.
Buddy had moves, you know.
Yeah, Buddy was
but-
a little more, you know, intense.
Yeah,
but
intense,
Louie
yeah.
was intense as well, but
Yeah.
he was so friendly.
Exactly.
And Gene was
that's
friendly?
how Gene was, too.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
So that's a story. I mean, but to have met him and hung out with him, you know,
And played with his band.
and played with his band. And I have a tape of me playing with his band.
Oh, I